Hey guys, it's Maddie with FTC Creative, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make terrazzo. There are two ways to make terrazzo. There's the batch method, which I'm going to be showing you how to make that on the silicone mat. And then there's also the zero waste method, where we use excess product from a previous project and then just smear it around our silicone cup and collect it, and then zero waste so we can use it in future projects. Before I get started, I'm going to touch on all the tools I have in front of me. So terrazzo is made from AC100. So that is our eco resin, and you don't have to pigment it, but today I'm going to be pigmenting with our liquid pigments in the color pink because why not? I also have a silicone mat as well because that's how we make our terrazzo. We're also going to be needing a kitchen scale to be measuring out our AC100 since it is a 2.5 to 1 ratio. I'm going to probably be using 125 grams of base and 50 grams of liquid today, just to not make sure there's an excessive amount of terrazzo being made. Then I have my silicone cups, which I have 2 of them because I like to measure them separately before combining them, kind of like a cake. My silicone spatula, which is going to be key for making terrazzo because we need to spread it out super thin. Also have our gloves because terrazzo is kind of messy. AC100 Jesmonite in general, kind of messy, but that's half the fun. So we have our gloves. I also have my apron on today as well, just to protect my clothes. And then behind me here, I also have my 2-part bucket system, which I use to clean my tools. Here's my mixing blade drill. This is my favorite tool ever. It just kind of gets the lumps and bumps out really easily without the process of a lot of hand mixing because my arms get real tired real fast. So I recommend having this. Anyways, let's get started. Now that I've touched on everything, in case you don't know what a terrazzo is, let me just show you real quick what we're making today. So it's these little pieces of excess AC100 that I've collected through past projects. If I like a color and I think it will go good with another color, I just kind of throw it into a jar. So that's what we got going on here. We have another collection of colors here. It's a really universal additive to your Jesmonite. It really adds a really cool, unique texture and pattern to your projects. And it's also just, like I said again, a great way to make sure you have zero waste in your Jesmonite projects because we love zero waste over here at FTC Creative. The first method I am going to be teaching you guys how to do today is the batch method. The batch method would be perfect if you're looking for a custom color palette of terrazzo, or if you're looking for a large quantity of terrazzo to be made as well. That works. That's also probably the best method to do. We are going to be needing a silicone mat, or if you don't have a silicone mat, parchment paper works just as well. The reason parchment paper works is because it's coated in a food grade silicone, which Jesmonite doesn't stick to silicone. That's why we have silicone tools, silicone cups, silicone mat. So I recommend silicone tools. So let's get into it now. I am going to be starting with my liquid in this larger cup. Let's start by putting our gloves on. Okay, now I'm gonna be starting by using 50 grams of AC100 liquid. I'm just gonna put that right in there. Make sure your scale is tared out as well. And then I am going, I don't know why I shook that up. Then I'm going to be using 125 grams of AC100 base, or powder base right here. Okay. Now, before I mix the two together, I'm going to pigment my liquid first. And I'm gonna do like, let's do like 3 drops of pink pigment. 1, 2, oh gosh, 3. Okay, maybe a little bit more than 3, but it's okay. I'm only using a couple drops of pigment to start off, just because it's a low quantity of Jesmonite to begin with, and I wanna make sure I don't go over 2% of my project's total weight in pigment. So we like to say that's the 2% rule. So if I had 100 grams total project, I wouldn't want to go over 2 grams of pigment. And then I'm going to take my mixing blade and then I'm going to mix this all up. color is so pretty. Okay, so now I'm gonna add this in sections. So I'm probably gonna do half and half here, just like I'm baking. I'm gonna do half and half. Perfect, and then I'm gonna add the rest in. Cool, and so then I'm gonna go over and clean my tools off in my 2-part bucket system. And my 2-part bucket system is 1 bucket filled with regular water and the other is hot soapy water. And I'm gonna rinse this off first in the regular water to get all that excess Jesmonite that's on my tool off into that bucket. And then the second bucket is where I clean my tool. The reason I use a bucket system is because I don't want this liquid Jesmonite to go down my drain at all. The reason for that is because Jesmonite will still set underwater, and if it's down your drain, that means it will set in your pipes, and your plumber will not like you at all. We won't say we warned you, but we warned you. Just saying. It's not a good time. Don't put Jesmonite down your drain, please. Please don't put Jesmonite down your drain. So here's my Jesmonite liquid, and I have my silicone spatula. I'm just gonna make sure I have it kind of all gathered off the sides, and because I don't want any loose powder on the sides that could maybe potentially mess up the pigmentation. Make sure my silicone mat is all nice and clean as well. Perfect. And then I'm gonna start by just pouring out a little onto here. And I'm not gonna pour all of it quite yet because we wanna make sure it's thin enough to be terrazzo. And what I mean by that is I don't want my terrazzo to be too thick because otherwise it won't work properly in your projects. So what I'm doing now is I poured it out and I'm just taking my silicone spatula and I'm just thinly spreading it out, thinly and evenly. We don't want it too thin where I can see the parchment paper or silicone mat underneath it, but I don't want it too thick where I won't be able to break it once it sets up. So I'm just kind of going back and forth, making sure it's even everywhere. Pouring out a little bit more. And then I'm gonna just thinly smooth it all out, making sure it's all even. There. And it doesn't, you don't have to really mind the brush strokes and marks in it because this will be all broken up. I just wanna make sure that it's not too thin like that because that would be way too thin right there. And so that's just about perfect. And so now I'm gonna probably set this off to the side to dry. And in about 20 to 40 minutes, I can go ahead and crunch this all up and I'll show you how to store it. Okay, so you can see that I have a decent amount of Jesmonite left in my cup, but I don't wanna throw this material away. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my silicone spatula. I'm just gonna then spread it along the sides of my silicone cup in here, just the excess Jesmonite in here, and thinly spread it around here, kind of like what we did on the silicone mat, but now we're in the inside walls of the cup. And it also doesn't have to look perfect, it doesn't have to look pretty, it just has to be thin and even enough for the terrazzo to work correctly. And then I can actually tell you guys a special trick I use with this terrazzo as well. I like to call this my terrazzo timer. So when I know when this is hard and I can crunch all the terrazzo up in here, that means my project, or in this case the other terrazzo, is also ready and done curing. So that's what I use my terrazzo timer for, and I will show you guys how that works when it's done curing. So I'm just gonna give you guys an up close shot of how I clean my spatula. So honestly, I kind of just stick it in. This is my non-soapy water, and I just kind of shake it back and forth to knock that loose stuff off. And then I just go ahead and I just use my hands. That's why we have gloves. Or if you have a brush, that could work too. Yeah, and so it just comes off really easily because Jesmonite and silicone don't stick to each other. And then I go over here, I just give it a quick scrub in the soapy water, and we're all good. We're back. I've waited about 40 minutes. My terrazzo is totally ready and dry and ready to crunch. I'm gonna show you how I know it's ready to crunch. So I know this is ready to crunch because 1, there's no more liquid in it, right? It's totally dry. 2, it's kind of hard on the inside. It feels like it's totally dry. It feels like a plaster cast almost. You can kind of hear it, kind of whatever. If you do go to crack it and it fissures, I would want to wait about 2 to 3 more minutes, maybe even 5 more minutes, just to make sure that it's fully dry. If it's not totally like flaking off and popping off, that it's not ready. It's not going to be the correct terrazzo. Since this is our zero waste method, this is going to be extra product, hypothetically, for a separate project. So when this is ready to crack, that's when I know my project is ready to demold and finish curing outside the mold. So here we go. It's really satisfying. Are you guys ready? I hope you're ready. You can kind of see how it just kind of flakes off like that. That's exactly what we're looking for. These pieces down in the bottom here, I had a little bit too much product. These pieces are gonna be too thick. You see how they're kind of hard, like I can't snap that in half with just my fingers. That's way too big and way too thick. We do not want our terrazzo to be like this. This is no good, avoid those. But yeah, and I usually pick them out just because I don't want to keep crunching them in there because they can kind of scratch up my terrazzo sometimes. So we're just gonna pick those out. But yeah, that's exactly what you want your terrazzo to look like. I'm gonna go ahead and crunch this mat now. And this one's gonna be really fun to do too. So what I like to do here is I kind of like to start by kind of just breaking the pieces up and loosening it, because it's kind of got a suction on there, and you can kind of see it just starts to flake off really easily. It's going everywhere. Whoa. And then you unroll it. Look at that. And I just kind of crunch it up. I really liked having like bigger and smaller pieces just because it adds a very fun variety into your terrazzo mix and into your projects. We don't want them too big though. It's perfect. And so now I'm gonna go ahead and add these pieces into my jar here because I feel like some more pink would really brighten this mix up. And I'm just gonna set this on my counter until I want a terrazzo project. Yeah, we're gonna add them in. And it doesn't matter how old your terrazzo is, you could probably always use that terrazzo forever and ever. Just give this a good quick. There you go, new terrazzo mix. That's it, that's how you make terrazzo. It's super simple, super easy way to reduce waste and also just add super cute chips to your projects, just like this one. If you want to learn how to make one like this, you can check out my video where I teach you how to make a terrazzo project. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, put them down in the comments below. Make sure you guys subscribe and like the video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.